Welcome to the Dragon Soul Breakdown previews. These short videos aim to give you an early access to strategies that are usable for early progression in Dragon Soul. Within a few weeks, full guides and breakdowns will be posted. For this particular guide, I'll give you a brief overview of the Hagara 10-man heroic encounter. During this guide, I'm going to cover the entire fight and talk about the important mechanics of each phase. The fight consists of 3 phases, where every other phase will be the main phase. Once the main phase is over, the boss will either cycle the lightning or the ice phase. During the main phase, your melees will stack behind the boss, while ranged and healers are loosely spread to handle all the mechanics during the main phase. I would recommend a composition of 1 tank, 2 to 3 healers, and about 6 to 7 DPS for early progression. The first mechanic is called Ice Lands and will occur twice during the main phase. Hagara will spawn 3 blue balls which fixate on a random player. Each ball will shoot a total of 15 ice lances towards their target. Each ice lance will explode on contact with any player and deal low splash damage in a 3-yard radius while applying a stacking debuff. The debuff will increase your frost damage taken and reduce your attack speed for 4 seconds. You should cycle 2 players per fixation so that you take 3 to 4 stacks before resetting your partner's stacks, which you will simply do by stepping in front of the ice lance projectile. In itself, this mechanic is pretty harmless and can be soaked above 3 to 4 stacks, but you will be at risk of dying to other mechanics if your stacks go too high. Ensure that casters, healers, or even tanks are soaking the ice lances so that the splash damage and attack speed reduction does not affect your melee stack. The second mechanic of the main phase is called Shattered Ice. This will blast a random target for high frost damage at approximately 100,000 damage and apply a dispellable slow. In itself, this mechanic is just spiky raid-wide damage, but if you're stacking too high on the Ice Lance mechanic, you will get one shot from this. The third important mechanic is called Focused Assault and should only occur 3 times per main phase. Simply put, Hagara starts rapidly hitting the tank for 5 seconds and deals high damage during this period. This is an ideal timing to use defensives and for healers to be ready for quick heals. The last mechanic of the main phase is called Ice Tomb. This occurs once per main phase. Hagara targets 2 players, which places a blue arrow over their head, and after 7 seconds they will get encased in breakable ice and take damage every second. When you're targeted, make sure to run to Hagara and stack under her, so that the tombs can quickly be cleaved down. After roughly 50 seconds in the main phase, you'll be prompted with either an ice phase or a lightning phase. These will be covered separately since you cannot tell which one is upcoming before it's initiated. We'll start by looking into the lightning phase. During this phase, Hagara is immune to damage, and your objective will be to activate 8 lightning conductors, which will end the phase and send you back to the main phase. The lightning conductors will spawn in a predefined pattern in the room and will require some raid coordination to get done. Once the phase is started, an ad called Bound Lightning Elemental will spawn on the north side of the room. Your raid should get into their predefined positions and the tank should kite the ad to the starting spot. When the ad dies, it will activate any nearby conductors, so the starting spot, being where you kill the ad, will be next to the northeast conductor. Once the first conductor becomes activated, it will start emitting a lightning discharge to any players within 10 yards, which deals low to moderate damage. From here, your objective will be to build a chain of players with 10-yard spacing so that the lightning discharge can propagate between players and reach the inactive conductors. There are many optimizations that can be made on this portion of the fight, but in general, using 3 players between each conductor will get the job done. I would recommend that you use the following pattern to quickly end the phase. This positioning will activate the 4 conductors closest to the center of the arena first, and once your group has activated the conductor, the closest player will rotate into position to activate the outmost conductors, creating an L shape with the players to be able to reach it. This portion can be done in mere seconds, so practicing this can save you a lot of time. While all this is happening, random areas of the arena will be targeted with storm pillars, which after a short delay deals moderate damage to any players hit. You should focus on activating the conductors and simply heal through this damage if it's unavoidable. When you've activated all the conductors, Hagara will be affected by feedback, which stuns her and causes her to take double damage for 15 seconds. You'll then repeat the main phase until either an ice phase or lightning phase is initiated again. Next, we will look into the ice phase, which can occur after the main phase. When the ice phase is triggered, Hagara will become immune to damage and cover the inner circle of the arena with a watery entrenchment. If you stand inside this, you'll take heavy damage per second and become slowed for the duration, so try avoiding it best as you can. During the phase, Hagara spawns 4 crystals on the outer rim of the arena, and your objective will be to kill these, which will end the phase. To make things harder, she summons waves of ice, which are propagated in a cross pattern from the inner rim and covers the entire outer area. The waves will rotate clockwise, slightly slower than your running speed, and touching these will cause you to take very high damage. The easy way to deal with this is to simply run around the outer rim of the arena and damage the crystals as you get near them. To make things harder, Hagara drops icicles on the playable area, which after a short duration deals high frost damage and knocks players back. You should mind your positioning and dodge these while running around. Finally, Hagara also places a debuff on a random player called Frostflake every 5 seconds. The debuff is dispellable and slows the players with gradual increase. Once it's removed, it drops a puddle on the ground which hurts. If you get dispelled while inside the watery entrenchment, you will not drop a puddle, so you should dip in, get dispelled, and move back out. The watery entrenchment can also be used to dodge ice waves, which can be handy to stay on a specific crystal. Once the 4 crystals are dead, Hagara will once again get debuffed with feedback, stunning her and taking double damage for 15 seconds. You should repeat these cycles until the boss is dead. Thank you all for watching. I'll be posting a couple of previews during the PTR period to get you started in this raid tier. Once we reach launch, full detailed guides will be posted, so make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any content. See you next time.